Welcome back to another episode of D-Suite Nation. I am Dan Hutchinson, Mr. Ray Ascencio. Before we get into the intro today, Ray, there was something you wanted to say. What do you got on your mind?
Yeah, I want to dedicate today's show to the house explosion, to the people the kids that died and the people that were injured and anybody affected. So I just want to, if we could just remove our hats and do a little 10-second moment of silence before we get started.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, guys.
All right. Yeah, thoughts and prayers go out to the family that was affected by the house explosion. All right. Today is the big day, Ray.
Yeah, kind of.
The 117th
back on if you want.
meeting.
It's cooler this way.
Oh, okay.
The 117th meeting of Michigan and Ohio State. Number 2 ranked Ohio State and number 5 ranked Michigan. And with us today, we have a very honored guest, the first ever guest of the D-Suite Nation podcast.
Yep, 2 years ago.
Greater Flint Sports Hall of Famer, former Central Michigan football alum. Or I always say that. Flint Central High School. Damn it. Former Flint Central High School alum, former Michigan Wolverine, former New York Giant, Mr. Adnre Weathers.
Welcome back, Adnre.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here today. Dre and I coincidentally ran into each other at the bar the day before Thanksgiving, and I was like, Dre, and he was like, hey.
He's like, who's that bald-headed motherfucker?
And I was like, man, come join us for the show on Saturday. And he was like, okay. We were both surprised you weren't going to be at the game today, but we're glad you weren't because you could join us today.
It's too cold.
Too cold. Too cold.
My body is affected by the cold now.
Here's something funny, man. The last time we seen him on our show on camera, not when we had him as a guest, but it was the day we had Fred Jackson at Sharky's, was it?
Yep, at Sharky's.
I had to look at the clip again when I said, Drake, come over here and say something. I thought that what he said was stay blessed. I thought that he said stay black. But he says stay blessed.
Stay blessed.
Stay blessed.
Dre, how you doing? What's been going on with you, man?
Not much.
Not much?
Not much. Just staying low key under the radar.
Okay. How'd the football season go?
We were very young. I mean, we were excited to actually play a year because we were out last year. So that was a good thing. We were young, however. I think this team, I probably had juniors and seniors less than 10.
Wow.
And we had 40 kids come out.
Okay.
After 30 youngsters.
That's awesome. How'd you guys finish?
We finished 2-6.
Okay.
Yep.
So got some work to do?
Yeah.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Mr. Weathers is the head football coach at Flint High School, the Flint Jaguars.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into the game, man.
Let's get down to business because I don't even know where to start with the Michigan. I'm not going to talk smack about Ohio State today. This is going to, at least I'm going to start off, being respectful about the rivalry.
Did you just say start out?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's always subject to change. I can't help it. What do we got to do to stop that quick slant? Because I don't want to get quick slanted to death again today. What do we got to do to stop that?
Well, the defense,
or not stop it, but
slow it down.
Slow it down a little bit.
Well, the defense is different. It's not the same. The corners play a little differently now, so I anticipate that's not going to be our downfall today.
Okay.
You like Mike McDonald, our defensive coordinator?
He brings a different edge to the game, to our defensive prowess, so to speak. So, yeah, I like him.
What do we got to do to end the streak, man? We're on an 8-game losing streak. We've lost 17 and 19. I told Dan a little while ago, according to the pattern in the last 20 years, we beat them once every 10 years. So if that stays the same, then we should win today.
We're due.
Well, I mean, it's the 10th year. It's the 10th year. It's our time to win. Then we'll lose.
I think Dre said it best. I don't want to steal his words, but he said it best before we got started today. Michigan has to play. They have to play their best game in all phases of the game. Yep. We can't have a game like we've seen kind of throughout the year where either the first or the second half, the first half we start out slow and then they explode in the second half, or like against Sparty, we blew up in the first half, but second half we didn't come out at halftime.
4-quarter game. We have to play a 4-quarter game.
I'm a little nervous, man. Not nervous like we're going to lose, just anxiety. Like I feel like I'm playing today.
You're ready for the game.
Like any game that I play, whether I'm playing 2-on-2 in my driveway, billiards, bowling, whatever. I always got jitters before the tip or before that first hit. And I got that going on right now. So
I do too.
So I'm gonna need Dan's help today. I'm kind of at a loss right now.
Hey, I'm nervous about the game too.
I'm not nervous about the game like we're gonna lose. I would feel this way if I was on the Ohio State side too. Anxiety. Anytime in a big game, because I always feel like I'm in the game. I'm not one of those Michigan guys. I hate people like this. I'm gonna start putting names out there if I keep hearing this bullshit. I fucking hate this. We ain't going to win. We lose to them every year. Or, well, I think Ohio State's going to win, but I hope I'm right. I fucking hate cocksuckers like that.
Yep.
Fair weather fans?
Or just defeated fans, right? Every year.
Think about this. Okay, you got kids, right?
Yeah.
If your kid, we'll use Danny for example. This is just an example. Let's say she was going to volleyball camp, okay? And she's got a volleyball tournament next week. You know that she ain't no good. She sucks. You know that in your head, but you ain't gonna tell her that.
No.
Hey, give it best. You had a good practice. That's how I am with my players, man. It ain't like you and Steve get on my case about my heart. Ray talks with his heart. It ain't with my heart. I always feel like I'm gonna win. If you whoop my ass in a fist fight 11 times in a row, I believe that because we're gonna go until I win. You ain't gonna just beat my ass and that's it.
Yeah.
We ain't done until I win. Okay? So that 12th time, I feel like I'm going to lick this sucker this time. You better believe that shit.
Yeah, I mean, instead of every year getting accustomed to losing, like the attitude I have is every year, no matter how good or how bad Michigan is, you always got to go into that game thinking this is the year that we're going to beat them. Because you can beat them in any given year, right? The rivalry have shown that, right? I think we're only 7 games up on them right now, right?
I believe so. I believe so.
I can't stand those fans either. Every year you got to go in thinking this is the year we're going to beat them. And this year, realistically for Michigan, this is the year that they actually do have a shot. I feel this Michigan team has been a different team all year. They've been coached different. They've played different. And I know Ohio State is who they are, but this isn't going to be a blowout game like we saw against Sparty.
I like our speed. What do you think of our speed around the edges there, Dre?
The speed has always been there. The misconception about Big Ten football, Michigan football is that we're not fast. We are fast. We just don't show it all the time because of the way we play. So speed won't be a question.
Hutchinson and Ajabo, they have to get to the quarterback today, and I believe that they will.
Yeah.
I heard that Stroud had a flu bug or something like that. I don't know what's going on with that, but we got to rattle that guy. Coleridge Stroud is his real name. The crowd, my buddy Marty said, I'm not going to steal my buddy Marty's shine. He's the one who said this. The crowd needs to be chanting his name the entire game. Coleridge. His name is Coleridge. Yep. Coleridge Stroud.
Yep.
Because if he was playing at Cameron Indoor Stadium, like if he was playing for North Carolina's basketball team, they would be calling him Coleridge the entire time.
Oh, yeah.
Or even Sparty's Izzone. They do that stuff, too. Remember they said crack house at Jalen Rose?
Yep, those Dukies will find your weekness, and they'll change.
Call that motherfucker Coleridge the entire game. There's a reason why he goes by CJ.
Coleridge is his name?
Coleridge. Coleridge.
What's the movie? Coleridge was the writer. What's the movie?
This movie, Siskel and Ebert right here.
Coleridge. No.
Coleridge?
Coal miner's daughter?
Movie.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm going to think of it later.
Okay. Look that up, Ryan.
The only movie that came to my mind with Ridge in it is Heartbreak Ridge with Clint Eastwood, but I know that's not what he's talking about.
No, but Hutchinson and Ajabu have to put pressure on C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
They've got to contain him, and we've got to stop the run game. We got to shut down.
Henderson's
the run
a
game.
monster.
We got to try to make them one-dimensional. We can't have a game where it's a death by 1,000 cuts. We got to slow it down. We got to slow the tempo down because I don't think we have the offense to keep up with them in like a 50-50 shootout. 50 points.
Oh, we show we can score that.
We can. We have this season, but against an offense like Ohio State, I don't know that we could survive if we start getting into a shootout.
Well, I mean, even so, we may not be able to survive a shootout, but as long as we can match their intensity, match their level, match their scoring, it puts us in a position to win the game in the end. Yeah. And that's all we want is a chance at the end.
Yep. I think if they keep it to, if we slow the game down, and if the game is a game where points are tough to come by, Michigan has shown this season that they're able to come up with big clutch plays and big moments that they can grab an opportunity. Now against Michigan State, we didn't do that. The second half, we kind of let our foot off the gas, and then we didn't get that big break at the end. But I think if we can do that and slow the game down and take advantage of big opportunities, I think we got a shot.
Yeah. Dre, let me ask you this. I know we asked you this a couple of years ago. Now, you played in this game 4 times, right? Mm-hmm. Now, at a time like now, it's almost 10:30. We're an hour or hour and a half before kickoff. What used to go through your mind like a couple hours before the game? At the Ohio State game I'm talking about. What goes through your mind? This is a different game. This ain't like every other game. Because you're the only one that at this table that would have the appreciation of what it's like to go into that game. And this is the Michigan-Ohio State game. This is bigger than any game in the country. What goes to your head?
Well, my head.
Yeah.
I'm a little different than most. What's going through my head is I'm trying to get ready for the game, trying to prepare.
Yeah.
So I'm a jazz guy. Everybody else is listening to that music to get hyped, geeked, or whatever you want to call it. But me, I'm listening to jazz to calm me down because of the excitement. The butterflies are building up. And it's not because I'm nervous or I'm scared.
Oh, I know.
It's because I'm trying to make sure I am prepared to do all the things I need to do to help us win this football game. Because at the end of the day, it's Michigan. And we want to play well. We want to perform well. And it's not just us. It's you guys and all the fans that are watching the game. So me personally, these are those butterflies that's popping up until that first hit and how the game's going to go.
Yeah.
That's when they all disappear. But now it's time to unleash all that preparation, all that time you put in, all that work, because at the end of the day, the whole season is built up towards this.
So as a player, I know coaches, they talk all the coach talk and they give their pep talk and stuff like that. But as a player, have you ever been in the locker room on this day for this game and seen a fellow teammate that maybe wasn't in the right headspace, whether it was nerves or too amped up or not amped up enough? Have you ever seen that? And have you ever, what do you do to deal with a teammate like that? What do you say to him to help him out?
Well, there's guys that you have those young guys that are playing in this game for the first time or who really don't even understand what that rivalry means. When they step out on the field, you can throw out everything. Everybody gets called out. So it's time for you to step up. If you don't feel like playing, go ahead and sit over there. We'll next up. So this is a game that, players, I'm not going to say they're tough on each other, but it's time for you to show up. So all that preparation, it's not the fact you can't do it. Sometimes the moment is too overwhelming for some guys, and it takes you a year, maybe 2 years to get used to it. But when you step out here on this field, you leave that on the sideline once you cross that field. So it's time to play.
So if Adnre Weathers was in that locker room today, what are you saying to a guy like Donovan Edwards, who is a true freshman playing in this game for the first time? Does he understand what this game means? And what are you saying to him to get him in the right frame of mind?
Simply put, welcome, youngin'.
Okay.
Welcome to Michigan. Welcome to the Michigan-Ohio rivalry. You're not a freshman anymore once you cross that line.
Let's talk a little history back then, because I still remember a lot of things back then. You got to remember, Dan, in 95 and in 96, this is before we won the national title. 95, 96, they busted their Ohio State's undefeated seasons both of those years. Right, yeah. In 95, I believe Michigan was 7-3 going into the Ohio State game. They were 10-0. And Biaka Patuka, that's when Biaka Patuka went off.
Biaka Patuka.
That to this day, when I still watch that, that's unreal. And then the following year, the Buckeyes were 11-0 in Columbus, and we were probably in the same boat as they beat them again. And then it was supposed to be our turn next year. We were undefeated, and they thought they were going to come to our house and bust our ass. David Boston talking all that nonsense. I'm going to get to David Boston in a minute because I still have my Sports Illustrated with that. Take that. No, we're going to get into that right now. Marcus Ray. One of my favorite all-time players, Marcus Ray. I love his tenacity. I just like the way he played the game. He's kind of like a James Harrison mentality for the Steelers. You know, he had that kind of mentality.
Yeah.
Can back it up too. I'll never forget. My favorite memory of Marcus Ray. After we beat Penn State, I'll never forget this shit, man. Players were, celebrating, whatever, and then one of the reporters, just grabbed Marcus real quick. Hey, Marcus, congratulations on, victory. Yeah. I can't remember. I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was a premise of him saying this. He said, I told y'all all week. I said, we're going to come in. He didn't swear. He said, I said, we're going to bust their butt when we got here. We came here. We said we're going to do. We're Michigan, and they're Penn State. He said, do I need to say anything else? Are we done here? She said, we're done here. He said, all right, bye.
That's a classic.
I loved him, man.
Marcus Ray. Classic Marcus.
And then David Boston, we all know about him when he was being recruited. He knew he wasn't coming to Michigan, but he came and visited our campus anyway and told somebody, I ain't coming here. When I play for the Buckeyes, I'm going to bust their ass.
He told Marcus Ray that.
He told that directly to Marcus?
Yep.
So the receipt Boston got was coming across the middle. I don't know if it was Joe Germain or Stanley Jackson because they always switched on and off. Through that pass up the middle that was way behind Boston. Boston jumped like 10 feet in the air. But when Ray pushed him, for some reason, he just went higher. And he had no control of his body when he was coming down. And on that hard, cold, that old-ass grass you guys used to play on, when he fell down, and Marcus Ray hovered over him. He said, motherfucker, don't you ever come to our campus talking that bullshit. Motherfucker. Called him a motherfucker. You could hear it on TV. I heard him.
We don't say that on the field, don't you?
Oh, no, not at all, no.
That's what I miss about the rivalry is, it doesn't have to be the same team winning every year, but that intensity that's involved with the game. I want that game to mean something again. You know what I mean? They've gotten the best of us for the last however many years, but
us as Michigan fans, we have a duty and a responsibility. We got to get behind these guys every year. I don't care if we've lost 50 in a row to Ohio State. Like you and Steve said, we got to toe the line and go to war with these guys, and I'm going to continue to do that.
It's the same thing you said about the comment you made about how could you be a Lions fan, right? Because I support the team. Every year, no matter what the expectations are, every year you got to toe the line and support the team like they're going to win every game. So every year in this game, you're right. You can't go into this game. A true Michigan fan wouldn't say, we're just going to get beat again. They're going to beat us. They've beat us so many years.
Okay, time out. Yeah, you have said that. I understand where you're coming from. And I understand your blind loyalty toward the Detroit Lions. But I asked you the last time we talked about this, man. Don't compare Michigan to the Detroit Lions in any facet of life ever again.
I'm not comparing Michigan to the Detroit Lions.
I don't want to hear the words Detroit Lions today. With that behind us, with him here, we're not going to talk. We're not going to talk about the Detroit Lions. I know you're a good fan, loyal fan. Okay, we get that. No more, unless we're talking about the Lions. When we're talking about the University of Michigan, we will not talk about the Detroit fucking Lions. I'm asking. I'm not
comparing the teams.
It's not the same. Please don't
I'm comparing loyalty to a team, and I'm giving that as an example because we had talked about that before.
You told me a while back, Ray, this is your show, man. Take charge. Well, I'm taking charge now. From here on out, when we're talking about the University of Michigan, we will not bring up the Detroit Lions because somebody could misinterpret that. We're not going to – those two don't go together. They don't. Okay? They don't. Okay. No more of that Detroit Lions bullshit. Right. Okay. Anyways, where were we? Lord have mercy.
Going into this game every year, a true Michigan fan would not have the attitude of like, oh, we're just going to lose again. A true Michigan fan would be like, this is our year. I may have said this is our year for the past 10 years, but I'm going to say it again. I'm going to keep saying it every year, and it's going to happen, and we're due.
Rivalry game. Throw all the records out the door. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, Ohio State once lost 16 in a row to us, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, they overcame. I mean, even though it was a long time ago, they overcame that. It was a rivalry for a long. It's still a rivalry, but we have the tools, we have the weapons. We can, let's take the gloves off, put the dukes up, let's go. Because I'm going to war with them. I'm going down with the ship. If we lose, if we win, I'm gonna be happy. So I'm either gonna sleep well tonight or I'm not gonna sleep well tonight. Yeah. I take this shit serious, man. And Michigan, the University of Michigan is a way of life for me. Okay, I'm not a nuclear physicist. I'm not a fucking lawyer. I don't have this high. I mean, I got a good career. I'm not, knocking myself, but this is all I got. This is all I got, man. With the way the world is, this is all I got now, man. Okay,
Michigan football.
Yes, and this is more than a game. I would love to win this game today against a great Ohio State. And this is a number 2 ranked. This is not a Luke Fickell Ohio State team. This is the real deal, Holyfield right here. Okay? I want to win today. It would mean a lot to me. It would mean a lot to Dre. It would mean a lot to the late Tom Harmon, our first Heisman Trophy winner. It would mean a lot to Rodney Feaster, Harlan Huckabee, Leroy Horde, Tony Bowles, Marcus Ray, you name it, Brian Greasy, Mike Hart. Come on, man. Michael Taylor, Demetrius Brown. This is for everybody that played here. Dan Deerdorf. I go on and on. This is for all of them. No more excuses. Let's go out there and win this goddamn game.
Yeah, and that's what people don't understand. How
about that roll call, huh?
You need to give the pregame speech. Shit.
If you're not a Michigan or an Ohio State fan, you don't understand what this game is. There are other games that have rivalries, right?
Sure.
The Alabama Auburns, yep. the USC UCLAs, the Notre Dame USC. Whatever rivalry you want to compare to this, that's good. That's a rivalry game, but this rivalry is unmatched by any other rivalry in all of sports, professional, college, high school, you name it. So people outside of these two states, they just don't comprehend what it's all about and what it actually means.
Yeah.
I'm on the road all the time, and I'm in Ohio probably more than I'm anywhere else in Ohio. And, I got my Michigan license plate in the front of my car, and, I talk to some of the shop rats in there, and we just friendly fire. What can I say? What can I say to these guys, these Buckeye fans? I mean, I talk a little shit, but I don't go all overboard, but till we start winning. Well, no, I do, but probably not the way that I was right now. I do. I do.
Being you.
Well, no, these guys don't take it to that next level because I'm always prepared for some fool to go there, but it's friendly. Yeah. But
and you got to have ammunition to talk shit too. We've had to eat some humble pie, so like you say, you got us. You've been kicking our ass, but your time's gonna come.
Here's a question.
You play the game long enough, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some.
Yeah, the pendulum has to swing the other way at some point.
It does.
Here's a question that I don't think that we asked him the last time that we had him on the show a couple years ago. If you didn't go to Michigan, where would you have went?
What offers did you have?
Yeah, what offers did you have? Just to name a couple. I know you had a lot. Name a couple of them.
Well, no, I have a different story.
Okay.
I played football because it was fun. I love sports. But I was really thinking of academics more than anything. So I either wanted to major in business or engineering. So my 3 visits were Purdue, who was number 1 top in engineering.
Okay.
Minnesota, top in business.
Okay.
And then Michigan, who had both. So football was really not the choice.
It wasn't the deciding factor.
It did in the end.
Okay.
But actually, the toss-up was, did I want to do engineering? Did I want to do business? You have top 5 here, you have top 5 here, and you have top 10 in both. So I chose top 10 in both.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
No,
that's interesting.
That's a great answer. Was there anything, did you have growing up playing football? I know you said play football for fun, but as a kid, were you a Michigan fan? Were you a fan of another team? Were you always a Michigan guy? Did you have dreams of like, I want to play for that school someday?
I didn't watch sports.
No?
No. I just had fun playing. I was a kid that went outside, played football out in the street, tackle on the grass, touch on concrete. I didn't come in the house and watch football. I'd rather go outside and just play. Go to the park, play basketball, played a little soccer, swam, bowled, did all those little things, but I didn't come in the house and watch this stuff. So I was just one of those kids that just at the end of the day and thinking about it all, I just loved to compete. It didn't matter about what the sport was. I just loved to compete. It just so happened that I excelled a little bit in football.
And that talent got you all the way to the NFL, playing with the New York Giants.
Yeah, which was another shock. No, I had no aspirations of doing that as well.
But that's the important thing. Like you always hear that line, like if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life, right? Mm-hmm. You love to compete, you love to play sports, and that you excelled at it.
Yeah.
You did what you loved, and it took you to the NFL.
I think by not watching, by not saying, and this is just me, not anyone else. I think by me not saying that I got to do this to get here, to get there, I think I took all those undue pressures off of myself and just played for the pure enjoyment of the games. So I think that helped me and took all that stress away and just helped me play. Because when it comes to getting better, I did it because I wanted to, not because I had to.
That's a great way to go about things and look at things, you know.
Yeah.
You go play the game because you love it.
Can you still dunk?
Huh?
Can you still dunk?
I can dunk the hell out of a donut.
He has some high rise, man, on the basketball court we're talking now, man. He has some high rise, man. I still remember that game at I think we were playing Swartz Creek in the playoffs at Davison High School. I'm pretty sure it was at Davison High School. You were, I think, a sophomore, and Dre got the ball on a break. He jumped like probably 4 feet above in front of the free throw line. One hand, he bonked it, didn't make the dunk, but he sure did jump far, and he swung on that rim with one hand. Ball was way back there at the other side of the court.
It's funny you should.
You remember
say
that play?
I found the picture. I have the picture.
I gotta have that picture, man.
I
gotta have that picture.
Make sure you send that to us so we can get it.
If you send me that picture, I will make that my permanent Facebook profile. I won't change it. If you send that to me, I remember that, man.
My foot was actually in the guy's face. The
Just
guy that
stepping on
fouled
his
me
face.
because I got fouled. No, I got fouled.
Yeah.
And my foot was like right at the guy's.
Yeah, he did get fouled. Yep.
My foot was right at his eye level. I said, "Who was that?"
Were you good enough to be double sports at Michigan? Could you have played on the basketball team at Michigan?
I think he
if
could
you'd
have
put me out there, I'd have competed if that's what you
Would
asked.
just never.
Well, I mean, again, football. I didn't pursue a scholarship. I mean, granted, I had some people in my corner and helped me out, but I mean, if it happened, it happened. If it didn't, it didn't.
Okay, so you didn't pursue it. You were just kind of waiting for an invite.
No, it wasn't so much the invite. It was I didn't pursue it in college because what people don't understand is you play a sport full time all year round.
Yeah, but we've seen that with other football players. You know, the Tony Gonzalez and the Antonio Gates of the world. You know, being a dual sport, especially with football and basketball. That seems to be the two that guys can manage.
Well, basketball players, because of their footwork, all they have to do is be tough and come on the football field. Because they're naturally gifted in certain areas that apply to football.
Yeah.
Which makes those converted basketball player tight end guys, they become great players. I mean, shoot, it's a ton of them like that. However, I wasn't a stellar basketball player. Again, I was just a competitor out there.
He was a good ball player. Trust me, he was.
I was decent. But like I said, it's the competitive nature. Could I go out there and play? Yeah, I'm gonna find a way to get it done. I know. Most of our Ty Streets was the only one I believe that played basketball, but he practiced, but really he practiced football, and then went out there and played basketball.
I can't. Yeah, you know what? Now that I think about it, I really can't think of a whole lot of two-sport. Michigan.
Guys?
Yeah,
like a Tony Gonzalez, a guy that played two sports for Michigan, basketball and football.
I mean, because I know Adnre Rison played both sports in college. Michigan, though, I can't really think of one that played both.
Yeah, I can't either.
I mean, it's tough. I mean, I played with a lot of All-American basketball players. Played football with a lot of them, but they didn't.
Well, maybe Michigan's just a school like that, or like with the coaches that they've had. Maybe, you know, when you're playing football with Michigan, you're playing football with Michigan, and maybe the coaches kind of.
I think Tyrone Wheatley, was on the track team.
Now we had players
Right?
we had a lot of players that ran track.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to tell you.
Now Wheatley did the high jump, right?
Hurdles.
Hurdles, okay.
We practiced football and just went and ran in a track meet. No, seriously.
Well, I mean, yeah, because guys are fast.
And
guys
we ran
are
in a
fast.
track meet. What they would practice, if they did in track, is practice coming out of the blocks, things like that. But other than that, they just went and showed up and ran.
Can't teach speed.
Interesting track story I heard one time about Dion Sanders, man. And because it's Dion Sanders, I believe it. If they'd have been talking about anybody else, I wouldn't have believed it. I think might have been his college days. I don't think it was high school. I think it was his Florida State days. Football practice. He's at football practice. And the track team had a meet somewhere close to the facility. He got in a cab or got in a car, and they took him to the track meet to run the 100 meters. Ran the 100 meters with his cleats on, won the race, and went back to practice. That's what I heard. Because it's Dion Sanders, it sounds like that could be true.
Yeah, it sounds like something Dion would do.
Didn't he do it in baseball?
Yeah,
he took a helicopter. Yeah, the Falcons had an early afternoon game, and 8 o'clock, the Braves had a World Series game at Fulton County Stadium. He helicoptered. He did a Batman. He fucking helicoptered his way out there. I think they even put that net down. You know, in the movies, how James Bond movie, they have the net where you're in the fucking helicopter and you climb down the net and jump off. Might have been one of those.
He's still the only player to ever play in a Super Bowl and a World Series, right?
I believe so, because I don't think Brian Jordan played in a Super Bowl, so I believe he's the only one. Yeah.
Okay. You guys ever watch? I know Ray probably answers no, but you guys watch the Manning cast? Have you guys watching that this year?
I watched
for
it
Monday Night
once.
Football.
I watched it once.
So Ray, if you don't know what I'm talking about, so the NFL.
Do I ever? No, I'm joking.
Monday Night Football, they do a simulcast on ESPN2, and they call it the Manning cast, where they have Peyton and Eli Manning. And they basically just commentating on the game. They have different guests come on each week, different celebrities, different athletes. They had Draymond Green on there. I think the most recent one, the last one. And they asked him if he ever played two sports. And he talked about him attempting to play football for
Saginaw.
For MSU.
Oh.
And he he tried to play tight end. And he was just they played a clip of him, and it just shows him like completely blowing the snap count and like getting off the line way too early, and he's like, yeah, he was garbage. He just couldn't do it.
Can I add to the Manning cast? Is that what it's called?
Manning cast, yeah.
Okay,
it's Eli and Peyton.
Yeah. Dan, remember when we had Fordham on the show and we were talking about the NFL Hall of Fame and all that stuff?
Of course.
Do you remember what I said about Peyton Manning and that accent?
Yeah.
Okay, like you remember what I said, though, right, about him and about people that talk like that?
Yeah.
Why would I watch them two talk?
I know. That's why I figured you probably never seen it, because but it was funny. But yeah.
I'm going to tell you what's funny, though. It's actually not that bad, because it gives you a different perspective, especially when quarterbacks are barking all these signals and calls. They're telling you exactly what the quarterback's doing.
Yep. And they're like, why expect this right here? It's this situation, expect this. And they're calling things out that happen. Or they're be like, why the hell would you do that in that situation? Yeah. Peyton Manning's like, well, they should do this. They're in this set. They should do that or this. And that was a mistake. Why would you do that? And like, just getting out. It's a real interesting perspective to watch the game with two, quarterbacks at that level, kind of dissecting all the game. I mean, those guys know what they're talking about.
And you actually see it on the field.
I won't knock it till I tried it. I'll take a peek at it.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a good review.
I'll
give you an honest review.
I think you'll appreciate it.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll watch. Let me know when it's on again. I'll watch
Yeah,
it.
It's really a coach's perspective. It's what they're thinking at that moment, and you're hearing it live from a guy that would be the one barking that order, that one that would be changing the call, why he's changing it, all those various things.
Yeah.
So you would actually like that.
And it's been quite a hit. They've had celebrities on there. They've had, athletes and stuff like that to, ask them questions, commentate. Fucking Marshawn Lynch was hilarious. Did you see that? Marshawn Lynch got on there, was just drinking shots, took 3 shots, one for each of them.
Oh, yeah.
Cursing on live TV.
Oh, yeah. Marshawn Lynch is always Marshawn.
Yep.
He never changes.
Yep.
I don't care what the situation is. He came to Flint.
Yeah,
No.
I saw that.
Yeah. He came to Southwestern.
Boo posted pictures of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he came to Southwestern and talked to some of our players.
You didn't holler at him, huh? Try to get him on the show?
It was too late. He posted.
This guy shook hands with Thomas Hearns. Were you in Washington, D.C.? Where were you at?
I was in Auburn Hills at some rich dude's house.
Didn't even fathom the idea of asking him to come on the show.
No, so my coworker said,
Hold on. I didn't mean to cut you off. And the reason why I bring that up is because he gets on my case not bringing people like that on the show. Here he is shaking hands, having a conversation, drinking a cocktail with his pinky up, and he don't say shit about our show on there.
Mr. Hearns did not say a word at that whole party. That's why. Like my coworker said, he's just not in the right mental health.
Yeah.
Like he couldn't sit and hold a conversation with anyone.
Oh, okay.
His health is that bad. He was just walking around smiling, shaking people's hands and taking pictures. Like, all right, listen up. 2 words you should know. Benny's Beer Hall. That's right, Benny's Beer Hall is coming soon. Located in downtown Millington, Benny's Beer Hall is the newest spot to grab a cold craft beer, watch the big game, and hang with friends. Benny's Beer Hall will feature 16 beers on tap using the Nordic Tap draft system. TVs throughout the beer hall guarantee you'll be watching the game that you want. And if you're hungry, Benny's will feature some of the area's top food trucks and local carry-out cuisine. Benny's Beer Hall, coming this fall in downtown Millington. We'll see you at Benny's. Prost!
I've seen him, like, in the last year or two. Him and Sugar Ray Leonard have done some conventions and all that. And I know he doesn't speak that well. He's kind of got that, what's the term I'm looking for? I don't mean any disrespect, but he's, punch drunk. Got that punch drunk voice. And but him and Ray Leonard, I mean, it looks like they're working when they do it, but I've seen them go head to head, we could do this a third time and go back and forth, and then there'd be guys in suits separate them. I think they're working, but he looks like he can still hit.
Well, no, once a competitor, always a competitor. I don't care how old you get.
Were you a fan of the Fabulous Four? Leonard, Hearns, Hagler, and Duran? I know you say you didn't watch much sports.
I wasn't a big, but yes.
Who was your favorite of those 4?
Sugar Ray.
Okay. Marvin Hagler for me. What about you?
I would have to say Sugar Ray.
Of course. Just agree with him. I knew you were going to automatically.
I'm not agreeing with
I knew you were going to automatically go against
just
what
because
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm giving you a hard time. I'm joking. Can't go wrong with Sugar Ray. Now Sugar Ray looks good. What is it, like 64 years old? I seen him hitting that speed bag, and he looks like he could still go a couple rounds.
Yeah, he's that type of personality. Very Hollywood, very keeping yourself in shape. Similar to De La Hoya. Those guys seem to not age.
If I could turn back the hands of time, you know how they say knowing what you know, or if I would have knew, how's that saying go? If I knew back then what I know now?
Yeah. Yep, you got it.
If I can turn back the hands of time and go back to being 8 years old again, so that would be 1985, I would have just boxed only and see how far I can go. I would have never played any other sports other than boxing. I would have made boxing my life. I'm not saying I'd have been a pro. Not saying I wouldn't have been. Always curious how far I could have went if I would have took that. That's because that's a sport that I love. I never did it. Just always curious,
Same with me. I boxed in the Army. I had the opportunity to join the post-boxing team, and I didn't do it because there was some rivalry between the guy that was coaching me and the coach of the post-boxing team, and I let my pride get in the way. I was one of that too. Like, I don't think I would be some, Tyson Fury or anything, but it's like, where would it have taken me if I would have started doing it full time and take it serious,
Me, I would have worked out with a boxer. I wouldn't have boxed, but I would have worked out with a boxer. Actually, when I was with the Giants, a buddy of mine was a boxer, and I trained with him one day.
Man.
Now, mind you, I was 25.
Yeah.
He was 32 at the time. And he said, let's go run hills. Well, I didn't care about running hills. It's Michigan Stadium. I run Michigan Stadium all the time, no problems. So I got ready to get in the car. I said, hey, let's go to the hill. He's like, what you doing, young gun? He used to always call me young gun. Young gun, what you doing? Getting in the car. I'm going to the hill. He said, no, we're going to run to the hill. I said, run to the hill. So we commenced to running up a hill to go around the corner and come back down the hill. Make a long story short, it was 2 miles to the hill. Now, I'm a football player. My body's only built for these short bursts.
Yes, right.
So we get 2 miles to the hill. Then I'm asking him, where's the hill? He says, right here. The hill is a block long. We ran a block.
God damn.
I said, how many hills are we running? 10. I said, I'm only running 4. So we commenced to run in the hills. I ran 4. He ran 10. So he said, you on your way? You ready to go back? I'm like, okay. So we start back. We stop at the high school.
I was like, where's the car?
He runs stadium stairs, and then he runs a mile on the track, sprinting the curves, jogging the straightaways. And then I'm like, man, are you done yet? Because I'm sitting there watching him do this. He does pull-ups, sit-ups. Then he says, let's go back. Then his daughter's riding her bike next to us while we're doing this. He says, I bet you I'll beat you home. So we're about a half a mile away from home. He just takes off sprinting. I said, wait a minute. So I get to the house finally. He's sitting on the porch eating an apple and said, welcome. Go ahead, get you some breakfast. I said, man, what kind of shape is this? This is something different. He's 32 in this kind of shape right now. So if I could have done it all over again, I actually would have worked out with a boxer when I was younger. Because that's some unbelievable shape.
If you want to get in shape, you go work out with a boxer. They just don't do, like, you don't just run. You throw punches while you run. You throw combinations while you run.
I hit a heavy
do
bag.
all the
My shoulders burn like it's no. Matter of fact, they hurt now. Hitting that heavy bag just for one round. He said, hit the heavy bag for one round. Just 1, 2. That's all I did. 1 round.
And when you're throwing punches at a heavy bag or sparring, 3 minutes, it seems like an eternity.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, it's just 3 minutes. But you're like, I'm tired. How much longer? Oh, another minute and a half. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. That's a different kind of shape. That's a different kind of shape. It's even a different kind of mental stamina. So that part of the game, I would 100%, if I could go back and do it, that's the part
I'll tell you who found out about that kind of conditioning. Dan and I were talking about this a couple weeks ago. We were talking about boxing and the UFC, how the conditionings are different. Not better or worse, but it's different. Conor McGregor found out about boxing conditioning with Mayweather when he looked like, he was dying in round 8, had nothing. And so, boxers are bad people, man. Bad, meaning good.
Yeah. All right, so let's get back to this game. Dre, give us some memories. What are some of your greatest memories, plays, moments from the 4 games that you played in versus Ohio State?
Well,
give us some stories.
One of the big most people don't understand. In 97 was such a fun year. Actually, my whole Michigan career was fun, but 97 was so fun and special about most people think we were out there very, very serious. Half the time we were in the huddle laughing, joking, trying to keep things light. But in the whole grand scheme of things, the group of guys that I played with, from the offense to the defense, playing with that selfless group, we called each other out. However, we played the game for each other. Mm-hmm. And that was such a special time. I mean, I always tell people I've been lucky in my football career. I played with some special teams from high school. We played selfless football in high school. We weren't the best Flints Central team since I was there. Shoot, the 2 teams before that, you talking hands down, had way better athletes. Mm-hmm. But we were the better team because we played unselfish football. We played for each other. When I made it to Michigan, same thing. And that was a culmination of our 97 defense was actually the same defense we had, with the exception of a couple other guys from a freshman year that came in. So we kind of all grew together. Even when I made it to the Giants and we played and made it to the Super Bowl, that group of guys, they embraced all us rookies. We all hung out. We all had a good time together. So I've been blessed to be a part of some selfless teams. But especially in '97, that Ohio State game, shoot, we had a great old time out there. And like I said, most people think you're out there. They have a big play. So what? Who cares? Make that play the next time. That's all we said.
Yeah, one of the great defensive performances in it as a season total by any team ever in college football.
Yeah, and like I said, it was a great time. It was a fun bunch, and most people think it was 11. No, we played a ton of guys that year, and everybody bought in.
When I think of that defense, the first name that always comes to my mind, Glenn Steele. I would be afraid of that son of a bitch. First of all, I would be afraid of all of them.
Yeah,
because they could all kick my ass.
There's
but
a lot of
something
big names.
something about Glenn Steele. I would sit up straight, shake his hand, yes sir, no sir. Talk about Glenn Steele for a minute.
Glenn Steele, tough as nails. Tough as nails.
Wrestler, right? Wasn't he a high school wrestler?
He was way before me, so I don't know.
Yeah, he was a badass
All
wrestler.
I know is he was a big-ass defensive end. He probably should have played tackle.
He set the tone in that Penn State game because he got that big sack at the start of the game.
Yeah.
And something happened in that Penn State game. Somebody get hit or something?
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't there a hit in that game?
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about that hit for a second. I mean, you were on the field.
You want me to set the whole thing up?
Set the whole thing up from the huddle.
No. It's not huddle. Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know.
Well, there's a couple plays before that. Again, we always challenged each other in '97, our defense. So in a secondary, there was a thing going out there is we were all going to hit Curtis Enis above the waist. Mm-hmm. That was the whole thing with the safeties. No one tackles Curtis Enis below the waist. Now, if you know Curtis Enis, that's one big. Yeah,
that's a big. Yeah, he's a big. Oh yeah.
So a couple plays before that hit, one of our safeties whiffed and missed Curtis Enis. They tried to hit him below the waist, and I'm not going to talk about the words that was said to that guy, but the words were put out there, and he was challenged. Now, Adnre Taylor's a guy that when his brain clicks, it clicks.
I've heard that. Yep.
So, I mean, even in practice, if you make him mad, he's going to hit something. I don't care what it is. He's going to hit something, somebody, something. So his brain clicked. So the 260-pound tight end caught the ball out the backfield. He takes off running 20 yards, 20-yard sprint. Adnre Taylor is in the deep middle. He's only about 190 pounds, maybe 200 tops. He comes out of the deep middle, runs full speed, and it's a head-on collision between him and a 260-pound tight end.
Bob Stevenson.
And he knocked that tight end out. The law of physics says the tight end should have won. No, that pile went sideways.
Bob Stevenson, Dan, was like 6'5", 280 of solid muscle. He was like Mike Allstott, but about that size, but taller.
Yeah.
And as tough, too.
Yeah.
And, God, when I seen that hit, because you can hear the hit, and Taylor was just, he was laying on his back. His fingers were moving, thank God, but Stevenson was like,
he was asleep.
It looked like he was like Taylor's wife or something. You know how they sleep on your lap? Or no, like if you're laying on your back, they sleep on your chest or whatever.
Yeah.
Stevenson was put asleep.
Yep.
Neither player ever played a down of football after that play. Yeah. Both of their careers are
I'm
in.
glad they were both okay. They were both clear.
Yes.
They just decided not to play the game.
Yeah. When was the last time you talked to Adnre Taylor?
It's been a minute.
How's Lloyd Carr's health these days? You ever hear about Coach Carr?
Yeah.
Is he doing good?
He's doing okay.
Good.
He's doing okay. So
that's good. Miss Lloyd Carr. I know he's fired up for today.
Who was your defensive backs coach that year?
Vance Bedford.
Vance Bedford.
Yes,
I've heard that name before.
He came from us from I don't know where he coached before, but he was a different style coach for us. when I was first recruited to Michigan, we were a big cover 2 team. So our corners were heavy run support guys. So I was 168 pounds soaking wet. The next smallest corner was like 198 pounds. Then you had, of course, Ty Law, who was 205, who was a corner, cover corner.
Yeah.
And then we had a 230-pound corner. I'm like, 230 pounds? What is this? So I'm a cover guy. So Vance Beffer came in, I think it was my second or third year he came in. And he's from Texas. So his whole philosophy is I want my corners to cover and I want my safeties to tackle. So when he looked over and he said, "That's your group over there," he was like, "What? I only have one corner over there." That was me because I was the smallest guy over there. He's like, "I need some guys that can run." So, I mean, of course, after that, we started getting different type corners. But, I think he's one of the greatest DB coaches ever. He taught us everything that he knew because he was an All-American corner himself. And he gave us all the tools in the toolbox and said, "Here you go. I gave it to you. Now you pick which one you like and which one works for you and make it happen."
I had forgotten. I remember when I think you dislocated your shoulder your freshman year because I remember you had your arm in a sling. How did that happen? I forgot.
If Boo's listening, Boo's responsible.
Oh, this is his fault?
I did it in high school against Saginaw. Boo threw an interception, and I went to go tackle a guy, and I reached my arm out, and that's when I first hurt that shoulder.
That's when you initially hurt
That's when I initially hurt it. And then when I got to college, everybody got bigger. So it just kept wearing.
So, does it pop out of place a lot? Like, even to this day? Like, if you and I were to wrestle, does your shoulder
it's fine now.
I've had you ever had a dislocated shoulder?
No, thankfully.
Okay. I can't remember if it was my senior or junior year in high school. One of them years, I can't remember. I dislocated my left shoulder. When they popped my bone back in place, that has to be the worst pain. I can't imagine that there's more pain in the human body, maybe other than being on fire or something, but that'll make you, I don't care who you are. You'd be the toughest guy in the world. That'll make you scream. But they said, the doctor said that when you dislocate your shoulder, the first time that they pop it back in, they said that's the worst pain in the world. But they said you're going to have problems throughout your life with your shoulder popping out. It's not going to be painful to pop it back in, only the first time. It's kind of like getting your cherry pop. You pop a girl's cherry and they scream like hell, and then after that she's fine. I'm sorry. I know there's a kid in here, but just trying to put things in perspective here. That's what it felt like.
You putting it in perspective to guys. About that one.
Oh man,
No.
Yeah. That I've never had that happen, but I'd like to think I'd just be like Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon and just slam it up against the wall.
Well, I'm here to tell you this: if you do, God forbid, I hope you don't, but if you do, if Autumn is with you, tell her to leave because you're going to cry. I know you're a big muscular guy coming here with the beard and all that. No, you're going to cry. You're going to fucking cry. You tell her to leave. Say, "Hey, go get me a Coke at the store or something." Send her out because you're going to cry in front of her. This shit hurts.
That's okay. He might get brownie points for that. Yes.
Believe it or not, the worst pain I ever felt in my life was I got a cat bit my finger, punctured the tendon. The tendon got infected. My finger swole up like a damn sausage.
Oh,
damn.
I had pain all the way up to my shoulder. I had to go into the hospital. I spent the next 4 days in the hospital on IV antibiotics, getting consultations from a hand surgeon every day.
Those infections ain't no joke, man. I mean, people might say that's just a finger. No, man, I can believe how that would hurt.
They had to give me morphine just to sleep at night.
Damn.
The pain was so bad.
What's the worst pain you've ever felt? Physical pain.
Physical therapy on my knee when I had my knee surgery.
ACL tear?
Yeah, 3 of them.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I'm a little crazy.
I feel bad for him because I tore my PCL a couple years ago. Didn't have to have surgery.
Mm-hmm. I remember that when you're in crutches.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yep. And that hurt like hell, and it still bothers me to this day. So hats off to you, my friend, having 3 ACL surgeries and doing physical therapy and recovery after that.
But you know what's funny? When I tore my ACL, it didn't hurt. That didn't hurt. It was the surgeries. Oh.
Yeah.
Just trying to bend my leg back, get it back, get that flexion back.
It's so tight.
I cussed my therapist out. What? Yeah. My therapist said, it's okay. It's okay. You can call me whatever you want. I've heard it all. You know, in college, I'm watching these guys, you know, I think 90% of all football players has had at least one ACL reconstruction. So I'm watching these guys on the table, and I mean, I'm watching grown guys, big guys, just tears falling. And I'm like, wow, does it hurt that bad? And then I had mine.
that little metal knife that they rub back and forth on your tendons and stuff. Oh my God, that'll make you want to punch somebody.
Oh my God,
because not only does it hurt, it's irritating as hell. You know?
You're awake when all that shit's going on. Don't they put you to sleep
for physical therapy?
Oh, physical. I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about surgery. Okay, so physical therapy.
I watched my surgery.
Huh?
I watched my surgery.
Would they numb your leg or something?
Oh, you have a choice. You can be drowsy, you can be wide awake, or you
put
can
me out. Put me out.
Hey, you know what? Let me stop. If I could do it all over again, I'll be an anesthesiologist. Those are the best people ever. They know exactly what dose it takes. I don't do needles, so when they put the IV in, I sweating like a runaway. That's the worst. So when they were about to put the epidural in my back, the doctor was like, "Hey, we're about to put the epidural." I was like, "What you gonna do with that needle?" He said, "Oh, we're about to put it in your back." I said, "No, you're not." He said, "Yeah, we have to put this in." I said, "No, I'm not gonna be awake for that." So the anesthesiologist said, "Okay." He's like, "You about to feel something cool go in your arm." So I feel something cool go in your arm. He's like, "Count back to 10. Count from 10." So I count from 10. I think I got to about 5.
Wow, you got far.
And I went to sleep while they were rolling me over. I woke up while they were rolling me back. So I was probably out all of 2 minutes. Damn. I was out long enough for them to put that needle in my back. I said, that guy, I love that guy. Love you, man.
Who was the doctor? Give him a little shout out. Who was the doctor?
The anesthesiologist?
I don't know him too.
I don't know who that was.
What, Genesis or?
No, I was in New York.
Oh, New York.
Yeah.
You don't usually get introduced to those people, like the nurses or the anesthesiologist. You see the doctor, you know who's performing your surgery, but all the other people that do all the other little things, you know, they're just in the room, and you're like, "Who are you?" And okay.
Shit, man. If that were to happen now in New York, man, maybe Dr. Ushimba Buford could perform your operation or something. Ain't he a doctor in New York or something like that? Dr. Ushimba?
I think isn't he in Texas?
Oh, okay. I know he's out of state. Yeah, he's a doctor though, right? Dr. Buford.
Yeah, but I think he's a psychologist or psychiatrist or something.
Oh, okay.
Different kind of doctor.
Okay, yeah, I don't know. I know I got the doctor part right.
I don't think he's an orthopedic surgeon.
Okay. I miss that guy, man. Now, hold on. I got to talk about another. Let's go back to 1997. We can't talk about that season without talking about Tim Dwight.
Tim Dwight.
Just talk about him for a minute.
The biggest, littlest guy I've ever seen. He had the biggest arms I've ever seen.
That guy damn near fucked our whole season up.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Iowa game? We almost lost at home against Iowa. Tim Dwight, little white guy.
Nope.
Oh, man. He was probably for 3 hours, probably best player in the world that day.
Yeah. Ran a punt return back right before the half.
I remember the name. He was wide receiver, right?
Yeah. I think he played for
Atlanta.
The pros. Was it Atlanta?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, the Falcons.
Yep. He was a badass.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some other memories that day. I know I don't want to get into Nebraska, Michigan stuff, but I have to acknowledge something. 2 common opponents that year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Colorado and Baylor.
Yep.
Just look at the scores. Look at what Nebraska, what their scores were, and look what we did to them. I'm not saying that. I mean, I'm just acknowledging it. I'm not saying that's what makes us better. And I'm just saying we had 2 common opponents. One of those teams we shut out. Can't remember if it was Baylor or Colorado. Colorado, we blew them out first game of the year. Lee Corso put that fucking Colorado hat on and was all dancing around, jumping on the tables with his stupid ass. But yeah, we end up.
You wish you had his telephone number right after that.
I actually like Lee Corso now, but if you're going to pick against Michigan, that's fine. You want to put the Buckeye hat on, that's fine. Don't be acting stupid on there. An old ass fucking always talking about Burt Reynolds and fucking playing with him in Florida State, but yeah, that Baylor and Colorado scored a lot of points on. They put a lot of points on Nebraska. I don't know. I had to throw that in there.
Not to mention the kick, the illegal kickball that shouldn't have been a touchdown.
Yeah, like Brian Greasy said, we didn't have any games like that.
No, but I mean, even if you look, the type of football that the Big Ten played, Nebraska was tailored for what we did. So they like to run the football. We love to defend the run. Mm-hmm. So if you want to talk about playing Nebraska and their high-power running attack, hey, come on, we love that.
Strength on
we
strength.
love that style of football. So actually, it would have been tailored just well for us.
Here's what I wondered, man. If I could talk to a Penn State fan, like a knowledgeable fan, I would want to know what they would think about in 1994 when they went undefeated and got nothing to show for. They weren't even co-national title. Nebraska was just outright. That Kajana Carter, what was it? Kerry Collins, Kyle Brady, and all them. I always wondered why that Penn State didn't get a share of the national title when they went undefeated in the Big Ten.
That's a good question. That's a very good question.
Auburn, no, not Auburn. Was it Auburn? 2004. Auburn went undefeated. Cadillac Williams, Ronnie Brown, nothing to show for it. I don't know. It's just weird how stuff like that works out sometimes.
That's the system. That's the system that we talked about a couple weeks ago, and that's the system I hate about college. I love college football, but I hate college football for that reason. There's not a real, the way they decide a champion is it's all politics. And
I mean, it's going to be tough no matter how you look at it. Even the playoff system today is tough. I mean, look at all the teams in the top 6 legitimately should be able to play each other right now.
This year alone is the example for an expanded playoff, right? Because you have so many teams with one loss, so many 10-1 teams, 9-2 teams, a lot of teams up there at the top. You're like, how could you pick just 4 of these teams to play for a championship? You got to expand the playoffs. You have 5 Power 5 conferences, only 4 playoff spots. That doesn't make no fucking sense.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they're hoping that you have Ohio, you have Michigan. One's going to knock each other off right now. Alabama, Georgia's going to meet each other in the playoffs.
That's an elimination. Yep, that'll be an elimination.
That's an elimination.
Yep.
So
yeah.
I mean, it's rough, but still, arguably saying it might be right. If Georgia beats Alabama, do you take Alabama out?
You have to.
I know you have to, but what's the one year they lost and ended up winning it? Wasn't it a year they lost in the? Was it they lost to Georgia in the conference?
They lost in the conference championship game.
Yeah, but
still
that
went to the playoff.
But that was their one only loss, though.
Okay, but
this is going to give them 2 losses.
What if Alabama beats Georgia? Do you leave Georgia in there?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. What if
that's tough?
What if a scenario ever comes where this game here, Michigan, Ohio State, let's say one team is 10-1, and the other's 11-0. Let's say Michigan's 11-0 and Ohio State's 10-1. If we lose 41-40 at the Horseshoe, we eliminated, or how does that work?
If you're those games at the end of the year, especially those games, I mean, that's kind of what happened to Michigan State this year. You lose a close game to a top 10 team, maybe a rival. It's a loss, but it's not going to be held against you with the weight of losing to unranked Purdue the very next week, right? You play in the conference championship. You're Alabama. You've been 2 or 3 all year playing against number 1 undefeated Georgia, who sat there all year.
Who's supposed to win.
Who's supposed to win.
Of course, according to 1 and 3. 1's supposed to be 3, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's it's a loss, but it still only gives them 1 loss. Mm-hmm. They're not going to be number 1. They may fall back to number 3. You know what I mean? Depending on how this game goes. But we could end up with both Alabama and Ohio State out of the playoff.
Yeah.
Just because who else is there?
Yeah, you're right.
You've got Georgia. You've got undefeated Cincinnati still. You've got Michigan. You've got Notre Dame sitting there.
Knocking on the door.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Oklahoma, they got 1 or 2 losses right now.
Shit, I can't remember.
A lot of people, a lot of experts are picking them to lose to Oklahoma State today. So this could be an elimination, like an official elimination game for them.
I can't remember if they have 1 or 2 losses.
I think
yeah.
1.
But then what do you do? What if we beat Ohio State today, and then We have to wait to the SEC championship game to see Alabama lose. If they lose to Georgia, that's 2 losses.
Well, we still
With-
got
with
to.
the
I mean,
other
if we
team,
win today,
We have to jump.
Then you're
We
talking
have to
about
jump Cincinnati.
you putting in like, yeah, Cincinnati,
We
who
have to
doesn't
jump
belong
Cincinnati.
there, by the way. They're undefeated, but they haven't played anybody. They got that one win
They
against
played
Notre
Notre
Dame early in the season.
So now, what makes Notre Dame credible? If Cincinnati beat them,
Right.
Do they?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not to speaking of Notre Dame, not to mention they beat the University of Toledo by 5 points at Notre Dame Stadium. Fuck Notre Dame.
So then you have two
that school.
loss Alabama and one loss Notre Dame sitting there. Who do you put in?
I'm putting in Alabama, to be honest.
Right?
I'm just saying. Alabama's track record says you deserve to be there.
Speaking of Notre Dame, now that I got you here, here's something I've always wanted to know. For me personally,
First major school that recruited me.
really?
Yeah. Coach Yelovich called me on the telephone.
Oh,
First
shit.
guy. Yeah. Okay,
Oh my
go
God,
ahead.
What school was that?
Notre Dame.
Notre
Notre
Dame.
Dame. That's what I
I
thought you
didn't.
said.
I can't say that I knew that. Where was I going with this? Fuck was that?
My bad.
Oh, no. I know what I was going to say. For me, this is every year. It's never going to change. I know we don't play Notre Dame every year, but for me, Notre Dame and Ohio State games are my big games of the year. That's when we have Notre Dame on our schedule. I'm not comparing the Notre Dame-Michigan rivalry to that rivalry, obviously, but since you played in a Michigan of the blue-gold game, okay, for me, I'm only speaking for myself here. It always seems like that game right there, more than any game in the country, the pads just click a little differently. It's such a serious game. This is a rivalry, like whatever.
That's a 4-quarter fist fight.
The Michigan Notre Dame game is more, suits and stiffs, and I'm one of those stiff fans. I am. You know what I'm saying?
It's a prideful game, but it's
That's
nowhere near as serious.
What is that? What is that game like? Michigan Notre Dame, especially when both you guys are good. Because that's a serious rival. It's not a talking back and forth. That's a serious rival. Like, we think we're better than you, or no, we're better than you. What's that game like?
Well, it's an early game. It used to be an early game.
Yeah, usually like week
third.
2. Yeah, because it was usually around my birthday. Desmond Howard made that catch on 4th and inches on my birthday.
It's one of those games to see where you really are, because you're playing a good quality opponent. Where does your team measure up at this? Because that first game, all the jitters, all the other stuff, you might be playing a smaller team and beat them by 40.
Yeah.
So that doesn't tell you where you really are.
Right.
You play a team like Notre Dame early. Now you know exactly where you are at that point. And that game kind of tailors the season. So it kind of gives you, it lets you know exactly where you are and where you're going to be. Not saying that your team won't get better, but where are we today? Because the sky's the limit. You beat a Notre Dame, you beat a good quality Notre Dame team, the sky is the limit.
Does Notre Dame belong in the Big Ten?
They can come on to the Big Ten.
No, but I'm saying, do you feel that they belong in the Big Ten?
Let's talk about, what does belong mean? I mean, did people think Penn State belonged in the Big Ten?
Yeah, I'm saying because of their region and because of their style of football, they're a Big Ten team.
They're wide open now. Notre Dame's wide open.
I know. They're here, they're there. The basketball team's in the ACC. Football team's still fucking independent. Just pick a fucking conference. Make those guys get in a conference.
It's the money.
You know
it's
what I mean?
the money. They have their own network. Who cares? Their football team will never be in a conference as long as they have that contract.
Yeah, unfortunately, Dre's right. They're not. I agree with both of you here.
All it takes is for them to keep them out of the playoffs. You know what I mean? If they switch to a structure where, if you win your conference, you're in the playoffs, right? Mm-hmm. The only chance Notre Dame would have is to just be good because they're not in a conference. You got to because the stipulations is not the next 6 best teams out of certain conferences or the second place teams or whatever, which should be. But they'll always have a chance. But if they say you're not in a conference, you don't get in the playoff. That's what it's going to have to take.
Yeah, they'll find a way to squeak through there. Because actually, being in a conference to them too, you come and play in the Big Ten, you have to play every week. It's tough. It's
Yeah,
tough.
but
I mean, they have their schedule bounces around. They go here, and play all these different teams. However, the old Notre Dame used to run that schedule, and that schedule was tough because the SCs were tough. Every team they played was tough. Now it's kind of college football is starting to even out to where those big schools that used to be real good aren't as good as they used to be.
But doesn't that give you a little bit more credibility? Now, I know they have the freedom to play, the USCs, the Michigans, the Michigan States, the other teams and other conferences. But when you're fighting for a playoff spot at the end of the season, being in a conference and facing those conference rivals every year, doesn't that give you a little bit more credibility as far as your schedule goes?
Yes and no. They play so much different type of football. You get locked in a conference, you're going to see this style of football every week. Big Ten, you're going to see power run every week. Notre Dame goes and plays power run. They go and play spread. They go and play this. They go and play that. And if you beat all those different styles of football, to me, actually, you're more diverse and you're more credible to me than if you're just in a conference that just plays run. You're in you can defend anything. You can play against anything. One of the biggest things for us, we're a Big Ten school. We go to bowl games, and this is my opinion, purely my opinion. We go to bowl games and we see a different style of play. We're not used to that. So it's tough to adjust a lot of the times. I'll tell you, going out and playing Washington State, that was a bitch of a game. We never seen 5 wide receivers. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, we just had a defense that could adapt at the moment, but that was a very tough game. Luckily, we were able to put the pressure on Ryan Leaf. But those 5 wide receivers running all over the place, man, it looked like little guys scurrying all over the place. I mean, I'm just being honest. But, Notre Dame goes and plays a team like that. Then they'll come play a Big Ten team where we're pounding the ball down. So, I mean, it's just one of those things where I think having that adjustment, it makes you credible to me. You're able to adjust to every team you play. To me, it wasn't until Joe Tiller brought Penn State and the 5 wide receivers that the Big Ten was able to adapt to all of this spread stuff, to be honest. So that's just my opinion.
Okay. All right. Give us one anecdotal or like the game against Ohio State. Give us one either great, your most memorable on the field moment, play, whatever it is, or some anecdote with Ohio State.
Let me see. I won't say my interception. I won't say that. What I will actually say is Charles Woodson's punt return.
Yeah.
Charles Woodson's punt return. That was that year in 97. But I'll even go as far as saying, you might remember this, the interception he got against Terry Glenn.
Break that down a little bit for us.
In that same game?
No. 2 years before in Michigan State.
95?
Yeah. Terry Glenn.
God rest his soul, Terry Glenn.
Arguably one of the best receivers in college football to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
And Charles Woodson came in and played an unbelievable performance that game, but had a key interception on Terry Glenn where he literally jumped over Terry Glenn's head and caught the ball. And it changed the perspective of the game.
I think there's a picture. You know what? Now that I'm having a hard time remembering the actual play, but there's an image. Because the way he just described that, the way he's jumping over him, and there's an image that I've seen. I know what he's talking about now. That was the Biaka Patuka game. Yep. I know what he's talking about.
All right.
And Charles Woodson, all Big Ten first team as a freshman.
Yeah.
And congratulations to Charles Woodson for
Hall of Fame.
NFL Hall of Fame, man. Congratulations.
Yeah. He's Charles Woodson, one of those names when you think of Michigan, he's like one of the top 2-3 names that people say instantly, right? You think of Michigan, you think of that guy, right? Charles Woodson, Desmond Howard.
The first name comes to my mind is Charles Woodson when I hear Michigan. When I hear the words Michigan football, Woodson's first name comes to my mind.
Yeah, we were talking about that on Thanksgiving, actually, talking about retiring numbers in college football and how they don't do that. And I'm like, man, no one should ever wear the number 2 at Michigan ever again.
Well, it'll get to be so much not retired, but you'll have to have permission to wear that number.
Yeah.
I wonder why we don't do the number one thing anymore, where you have to earn the right to wear the number one. We don't do that anymore. Like, I mean, you know, Andrew Anthony, who I love, true freshman, wears number one. You know, we don't do that.
Well, I don't know. Did they do that?
What?
Did they just give him one, or did he have to seek permission? Like,
why would you let a true freshman wear number one?
Usually, you don't wear number one till like your junior or senior year.
Who said that?
That's the way that they used to do it after the Anthony Carter days. Like Braylon Edwards
had to get permission.
Yeah,
it didn't matter when it was. Braylon Edwards had to get permission.
Greg McMurtry didn't wear number one the entire time. He wore it his senior year. Derek Alexander, another guy, wore number one. Braylon Edwards, who we just said, but looks like they don't do that anymore.
So who would Anthony have asked? Who was the last guy?
You got to. I would have to think.
Braylon
I would have
Edwards.
to think if you're not asking the administration, probably Anthony Carter, I guess.
Yeah, you have to literally.
But didn't Edwards?
You got to literally ask Anthony. You got to ask him. You know.
But does that permission get passed down? Because Edwards was the last great receiver to own number one, to wear number one, and not own it. But
I would have to think. I mean, I think Funchess wore number one.
Yeah, he did.
But
that's right.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just curious on if they still honor that. Like, you know,
that would be a good question. Yeah. I mean, it to me, certain things are special. Certain things should be sacred.
Yeah.
You should earn those things.
Well, I'm glad we went back to putting the decals on the back of the helmet, so I like those. But they're different though now, because they used to be. Didn't they like little Wolverines? Now, when you look at them now, they're like all different.
I thought they were little footballs.
Well, whatever they are, they were all the same.
Oh, they were Wolverines.
Yeah, I thought they were like little, but they were shaped like footballs.
Yeah.
But now, watch it today. When you look at them now, a guy that has a whole bunch of shit in the back of his head, they're different. They're all different.
Maybe for different things. Different stickers for different things.
I guess.
On the field accomplishments.
Every coach puts their spin on things. So.
Yeah. Ryan, did you get a trivia question for us?
Yeah, I did. So, I'm gonna take a look at my phone real quick because I got goldfish memory. But
give Ryan a little intro here. Let people know who this is.
So, we used to have Mason helping us out with the show, but we brought in,
Ryan Riapel.
hey,
Yes.
you said it right for the first time.
We brought in.
He didn't know your first name.
No, I knew his. I was thinking of his last name.
French.
Ryan Riapel. We brought in Ryan. Ryan's a student at Davison High School. Is a student of our good friend Randy Scott. Works at the Davison High School television studio, and he was excited to come help us out. He helped us out in a pinch when I was out with COVID, and he's like, "Man, this is fun. I'm gonna come back and do this with you again." So it's good to have you here, Ryan, helping us out on the backside of things.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
But I asked Ryan. It's kind of something we wanted to start doing. Trivia at the end of the show. And I told Ryan to come up with a trivia question, so we're all going to give it a crack and see.
Now, make sure you let them know when you do these trivia questions. I don't have any idea what the trivia question is. I don't want people thinking that I'm making. I knew the answer already.
We tell Ryan what topic we're talking about, and it's come up with some trivia question in this topic. So none of us know what the question even is.
Oh, you don't even know.
I don't even.
Oh, okay.
Just me.
Okay. Okie dokie.
All right. So Michigan and Ohio State have had a long history, as we both know.
Sure.
When was the very first time that they met?
Ooh. Ryan coming out the gate swinging.
I know I'll be in the ballpark. I don't think I'll guess. I won't know the exact year. I'll be in the ballpark.
When they first met.
The very first game that they have ever met each other. I'll give you a little hint.
Hold on. I don't want no hints.
You don't want no hint?
I want no hints.
I want a hint.
No, I don't give a shit. No, I don't give him no fuck. If you don't know, you don't fucking know it. Give him no fucking hint.
Dre and I want a hint. Mute his headphones. Give him.
Hold on. I'll give you a hint. I know that it was in the 1800s. I'll tell you that much. That's a fact.
I mean, yeah, okay.
Well, no, because remember 2003 was the 100th game.
Yeah, so we're already in my head was going 1800s, but
so like naturally people would think, okay, well 1903 or 1904 must have been the first game, and that's not the case because there was a couple years in the 20th century where they didn't play. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the reason was, but so like in the last 120 years they like didn't play each other like 5 times. So I know it's in the 1800s. I know I'm right on that. That's a fact.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say 1897.
Ooh, I'm going to go a little closer. I'm going to say 1903.
Okay.
I just did.
You listen to a word I just said.
I did.
What the fuck you spoiling? What?
Well, you said
You
1800.
smoking that
You
shit
said
last night at the Davidson Athletic Club?
He said it's in the 1800s.
I just said
It is in the 1800s.
Okay.
Wah, wah, wah.
said
See, this is where you play the wah,
Oh
wah,
yeah,
wah
oh yeah,
sound,
oh yeah.
I just said I know for a fact 100% it was in the 1800s. And he said, yeah, I know.
But then you go
and
say
then he said 19 something, man. What the?
1897. That's only 3 years from that. You know, the new millennia or the new.
Okay.
Century.
Well,
Whatever.
Well, you will be because the correct answer was 1897. It was October 16th, 1897.
Good job, Ray.
Wow.
Who won?
wow. That was a.
Who won?
I knew I was in the
Michigan
ball, but
won.
I got
Michigan
lucky
won?
on that one. Didn't they win the first 16? I think they won the first 16 meetings, so they did win that game.
I have to do my research.
Yeah. Well, I know they had a 16-game winning streak, but I believe that they won the first 16 meetings.
So you wait a second. You had that question prepped, and you didn't think to check who won the game?
No, I know who won the game. It was 34-0. They won in the second half.
Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I
thought
know
you
who
said-
won the game.
I thought you said I had to do
We
my
were
research.
already
You did
playing
do your
football.
research.
We were already playing football.
What are you talking about?
Michigan was.
What, in the 1800s?
You mean?
We've been playing football longer than Ohio.
Oh, you mean as far as like having
Oh,
a football program?
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
Now, here's something you may not have known. And I don't know the exact year. It might have been 1900. I really don't know the exact year.
You know.
But did you know that Michigan is the first team to win a national title outside of the Ivy League? Because if you look at the history, like the first 50 national titles, Harvard, Yale, Harvard, Yale, Brown, Cornell, Harvard, Yale, for like 50-something years, it's just Ivy League shit. And then we won in 1900. And
First non-Ivy League school to win the national championship.
yes, first non-Ivy League school to win national
Learn
title.
something new every day.
Got to look that up.
And what?
Look that up.
He wants you to fact check, Ray.
Oh, I got you.
Now, you know me better than that. You know me better than that, man.
You just told me before the show not to do that, and then you did it on camera.
Yeah.
The quote of all, listen, man, what made this episode great is me and Ryan both said, yes, it's 100% in the 1800s. Yes, Ray, you're right. And he still said 1903.
I was thinking. I wasn't paying attention when I heard you. I didn't hear you guys
That's
say
funny,
that.
man.
Okay.
You know that blooper reel you're always saying you're going to make? That's number one, man.
All right. Well, it's close to game time. We got to get things prepped. We're going to watch the game here after the episode. Play us out with that fight song one more time, Ryan. Dre, we appreciate you being on here, man. Last minute.
Thank you.
And go blue.
Go blue.
I hope you saved your appetite because we're going to be eating good.
Eating some pizza.
I'm trying to watch my figure. Just kidding. Just kidding.
All right. Well, this is going to come out probably on Tuesday, and we hope we have the outcome we're looking for. But go blue. I hope Michigan wins today, and we get on to that playoff.
Yes, sir.
Let's do it. I'm
All
ready.
right.
Let's rock and roll.
We'll see you guys next time.